Something about this cold weather just makes me want to dye my hair black.
Uh-oh.
Hairstylist all day.
Okay. Everyone can hear me? I hope so. Good one, Garrett. Good one.
What?
I said good one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. Now, if I want to hit that, we're going to go live. How do we do this? Okay, is that live? I don't know. Let's see. Waiting for, okay. Please post a comment if you are here, because this is my first time going live and I have no idea if you all are there. So I'm gonna put this here too. Apparently StreamYard does not do, let's see. Okay, good. So we're live on TikTok and we are live here, maybe. And I would love to, today I'm Christy. And if you don't know me, I'm a floral designer and a floral coach. I'm all about start your floral side hustle. Today I've got a lot of vases and some flowers, and I just thought if you had any questions about floral design, I would love to give you some answers so I can just start designing and just see if there's anything you'd like to know. But please post in the comments if you would like to know something about floral design. I guess, we've all brought flowers home from the grocery store, right? And they come in a big bag like this. Now, I want you to be honest. How many of you out there have taken the flowers and all you do is just cut the stems right there and then drop them in the vase? Okay, be honest. Have you done that? Say yes. Say no. Do you arrange them or do you just cut the stems off? I've got to get a towel because this is very wet. Okay. Any comments? Anyone want to comment? Have you taken your flowers and all you do when you get them home from the grocery store is just slice off the end, cut off the end, and not only that, but you cut them with scissors. You just take some scissors and you just cut them and drop them back into your vase, and now you've got flowers in a vase like that, right? Okay. There's so much more you can do with flowers. And that's what I kind of wanted to go through today, was just some maybe quick tips. And also, if you had any questions on floral design, I would love to help you. I'd love to answer those for you as well. So if anyone wants to be a part of this and has a question on floral design, I know it's kind of hard because I don't even have a question right now. Like if anyone said that to me, I'd be like, I have no idea. But really what I'm doing is I'm watching my cat here. I am promoting my webinar tomorrow, which is Start Your Floral Side Hustle. So if you ever wanted to dive into the world of floristry and you wanted to do something fun that you could enjoy, like playing with flowers, but actually make money at it, that's what we're doing tomorrow. And I would love to kind of give you some tips and tricks today of floral design, and then also just inspire you to join me for the webinar tomorrow at 10 a.m. and Eastern, and then Thursday at 8 p.m. So we'll be doing that. So today, I guess what I'll do is I'm going to start with just a little vase. I've got this cute little vase here, and I love these little vases. They come off from Amazon. That you can get them from Amazon on my my channel, and you get about, I think it's like 12 to 24. You get a whole bunch, and they're so cool because they're just these cute little things. And what I'll do is I'll take a whole bunch of them, like 12 to 20 of them, and make little floral arrangements in them. And then I'll line them up along a table. And then they become hostess gifts. So they actually serve as two purposes. One, you have a beautiful table with almost like a centerpiece. And then at the end of the event, everyone gets to take home a little vase. And they're literally like $1, maybe 50 cents. I mean, they're like one of the cheapest. They're cheaper than what you can get at dollar store. So I love these little vases. And let me just kind of show you what I would do with one. So I'm going to fill it up here. And I feel like I see JoJo here. And I think I've seen you on my channel before. And if so, a friendly face, which is nice. I love seeing friendly faces. So just ask away if you have any questions. But I have my webinar tomorrow on Start Your Floral Side Hustle. And that's why I'm here tonight, is I'm excited for that. And then I just thought tonight I would have a webinar eve. And tonight I will go through some little tips and tricks. But I love these vases. They come from Amazon, and you get 12 to 24 in a pack. And they are so cute because you can just put just a little touch in them. Now I'm going to use my Meraki scissors, which I love, clippers. These are actually from Japan. And I thought it was kind of a gimmick at first, but Jenny T Floristry is the one who sells them here in America. And it's her company. And at first I was like, oh, that's just kind of a gimmick. I mean, maybe I had a little bit of jealousy going on there, like we all do, right? Comparisonitis. Well, these are really cool because she, I guess, liked this company, this Japanese company that carries these neat clippers. And she was a huge fan. And she went to go place an order because she needed some more. And unfortunately, they were closing their doors. It was around COVID time. And she was like, oh my gosh, my clippers, my favorite floral shears. They're not clippers, they're floral shears. So she reached out to them, and now she kept the company alive. And now you can get them in all different lengths with the blade in all different lengths. And what's so nice about these clippers is that they are so user-friendly, like your whole hand can fit into it. And the other thing you need to watch when you're using floral clippers is that there's blades on both sides. You'll notice that some clippers just only they're blunt on one side and they have the blade on the other. Well, that actually will crush your flower stems, and then your flower stems will not get the water that they deserve. So I'm going to move this a little over so y'all can see the flowers as well. So I can have it right there. Okay, and I was just talking about, be honest. I wish someone would say yes and be honest, that when you have flowers, you get them home from the grocery store, and all you do is cut the bottoms off at one length, and then you just drop them in a vase. Well, by the end of tonight, I'm going to show you how that is like so boring. And so it's just not totally fine to do. Like, no judgment. I'm the last one to judge anyone. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to say that I can actually teach you some tips and tricks on making your grocery store flowers look very professional. So that's what we're going to do today. And I was going to see, maybe I'm looking here at my, see if there's any comments here. Okay. Well, I think we're live. Who knows? No one's commented there. And I see possibly some people that are watching, but maybe not. But I would love for you guys to join in and comment on anything that you see here. But I love these little vases. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do with a bunch of grocery store flowers. They come in a big wrap like this. So first of all, I have my clippers that are not just scissors. Scissors are not, they could be dull or they could be dirty. So I keep some shears that are just specifically for my flowers. And then, of course, I'm going to take off the rubber band. And then I'm going to take off the outer sleeve. And then if I don't, I always save, there we go. I'm gonna save this inner sleeve. And what's so cool about this wrapping right here is that it is waterproof. Let me put these back here. So this is something that you could, if you wanted to use later, I would save this because you can create a hand-tied bouquet for a friend, like a little hostess gift. So I would save these if I were you. And I'm going to put this over here because I'm going to save that, but I'm not going to use it in this bouquet. The outside wrapping, I just throw that away, or I use it in future instances. Right now, I'm going to try to give it to my cat to play with. There you go. There you go, Flapjack. Trying to keep the cat out of the flowers. Anyone have? Ooh, and we have a bonus. We have a little slug. Love it. Not really. You know, these are real flowers, so you never know what you're going to get with your real flowers. We'll put him over there for now. So. So that's, so I've got these flowers here. And again, this is the kind of the basic version of a bouquet that most people, you'll cut the stems and then just drop them in a vase. Hopefully you'll cut the stems, right? A lot of us don't even cut the stems. We just drop them in a vase. I don't know, people don't understand. So I'm going to explain this today. How do you think a stem takes up water? There's only one way. It's, well, no, that's not true. There's more than one way, but the best way for the flower to take up water is through the base of the stem. It's almost like a little straw, right? And so just imagine that and it's not like the whole bottom of the stem takes up water. It's actually, each stem is biologically made a little different, but for the most part, it's just the edge, like the rim, right over under the protective layer. There's just a few cells. So the flower does not have much of a chance of getting a lot of water. And if you want your flowers to last a long time, you're going to have to cut it at an angle, a nice 45-degree angle, as you can see there. And then you want to immediately put it in water. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got a vase here. Have some little fun stickers on there. I'm going to go ahead and put my water in here. And then there's something that we do in the floral industry. It's a florist secret, a tip and trick, I guess you would say. And it's this stuff right here. This one's called Hydro Plus. There's all different varieties and versions of it. But what it is, it helps hydrate your flowers, meaning that the minute you cut the stem, when you cut the stem, you're actually communicating with the stem. You're saying, hey, when you cut the stem, you're saying, I want you to take in water. And so when you cut the stem, you're telling the stem to take water into the cells. And so when you cut it, you want to immediately put it in water. What I don't want you to do is get all of your flowers, cut all the stems, and then start arranging. And because if a stem stays out of water more than 30 seconds, it's going to start to heal. It's self-healing. Just like if we scratch ourselves, and immediately our body starts to heal itself and it stops bleeding. Well, that right there is self-healing, and the stem does that as well. So the minute you cut the stem, you want to go ahead and make sure you put it in water. But if you want extra hydration, then you dip it for 30 seconds in this formula, and that will give it extra hydration, which will in turn keep your flowers lasting longer. Then also you've got the flower food, and we love the flower food because it has all different properties to it. It lowers the pH level, makes it more appropriate for flowers to take in water. And then it also has food, carbohydrates and sugars, which the flowers love because that's the food, right? To keep it surviving. And then it also has a bacteria side, something to keep the bacteria from growing. And that will help your flowers last longer. So there's a lot more reasons with the flower food than just sugars. There's a lot going on here. And so I always suggest, reading how much flower food per water Usually they don't give you enough for like a whole big, big jug of water or a whole big vase of water, but read the directions and see how much you need to put in. That's always a good thing. And then, like I said, when we're cutting our stems, we cut it at a 45-degree angle, and then we immediately put it in the water. So that's really important. Does anyone have any questions yet? Does any of that help anyone? Does anyone want me to continue? Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, let's see. Looking here. Okay, so we will continue on. See if anyone else has anything they want to say. Okay. Flapjack. No, Flapjack, just a second. My cat is eating bread. You're eating bread. Don't eat bread. Let's not eat that. Okay. So we've looked at the way to process flowers. Now let's talk about, before you actually design flowers in a vase, have you ever found it frustrating when you go to put flowers into a vase and they all just kind of flop over and they go every which way? And maybe you even start to design them and you're like, oh, that's perfect. And then something knocks something else and it all falls apart, right? That's so frustrating. So one of the florist secrets and the way to get around that is to create some kind of grid to hold your flowers in place. And there's a really super easy way to do that. And it's using tape. And you can see here, I pre-taped this. So this is a grid that I used in the past. And it's so easy to do, but it makes such a difference. And here's a smaller version of one. And so there is a secret to it, though, believe it or not. It's not just adding tape. You can add Scotch tape if you want. The nice thing about this tape is florist tape, and it's 1/4 of an inch. So it's a nice thin tape. So it's just giving you a nice thin, and you can reuse it over and over again. But the key and the trick here is to go around the rim of your vase first. And if you go around the rim of the vase first, that is going to create a nice sticking point for your tape, because now you're sticking tape onto tape instead of tape onto glass, because this is not waterproof, this tape. So once you do that, let's see if I can raise it up here a little bit more. Once you make your rim around the edge of the vase, then we're going to go across, directly across in the middle. And we're just going to come down just maybe about like a 1/2 inch past our rim of tape there. And then the question is, how many strips across in each direction? And there is no rule of thumb. If I had calla lilies, which the stems are super thick, then of course I would want a wider grid. But if I have, if I'm using like little delicate sweet peas where the stem is is like 1/10 of the size of my finger, then I would want to do a tighter grid. So that's kind of how I decide how far my grid is. But there's of course, most stems are kind of like, a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch in diameter. So I kind of try to go a little bit bigger than that, because you can, of course, put more than one flower in each grid area. So I'm taking it. It's always good to make a little tab on the end so that you don't lose the end of your tape. And another trick and tip is that you don't want it to be so tight. You're not trying to just create this amazing tension, but you also don't want it to be super loose. You want it to be like a drum. Like my friend Joanne says, it's like a drum. It's kind of, that tension where you could almost feel like it's It has a little give, but it definitely has some tension there. So we're going to go across about 3 and 3. And now keep in mind, you can do this with anything other besides Scotch tape. See, I've got my grid going here. And then I'm going to take the tape around the edge. Once I get my grid made, then I go one more time around the rim of the vase with the tape. And do you see how easy this is? But how this is totally going to transform your floral design. Your floral design is going to go from beginner and no experience to looking professional, just with this one little trick. Okay, so we've got this. And let's see here. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Donna. All right. Okay, so once we've got our grid on the top of our vase, this is the beginning of our, let's see. This is the beginning of a very successful, very professional looking floral design when we have that grid. So that is, we're so happy about that. And I do the grid before I add water for a couple reasons, but the main reason is the tape is not waterproof. And so it's so nice to do that first. And you can do that, let's say, you can do that when you just have extra time, or when you're putting your vases up, you can go ahead and make a grid. After you can wash your vase, go ahead and make your grid, put it up in the shelf. And then when you go to the grocery store and you get your flowers, you're not thinking, oh, I got to go make a grid, right? It's an extra step. You don't have the time for it. You're not interested in doing that. So this is a wonderful way this is a wonderful way to just go ahead and have that done, so that when you go to the grocery store and you come back, you are ready to go, right? So hi, Jean. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a good evening. So we've got our grid, our floral grid, and what we're going to do is we're going to take these grocery store flowers and make them look very professional. And it's going to be awesome. So we're going to put some water in here. And I love AI says floral centerpiece design, learn flower hydration. Yes, we did go over that. AI, you are right. You are right. Okay. I love using a funnel. I don't have one right now, but a funnel is such a good thing to have in my on my Amazon shopping list. You can find under my site, you can find the shopping list for all these stuff. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up with water. Okay, and we've got some water in here. And I like to fill my vases of water about 3/4 full. So what we're doing right now is we are making an arrangement. We're taking grocery store flowers and turning just basic grocery store flowers into a professional floral design. And I'm doing this because I am promoting my webinar for Start Your Floral Side Hustle, which is tomorrow and Thursday. And that's what we're focusing on here. So I've got a vase, and this will blow your friends' minds because they will have no idea that you ever took any floral design class, and you'll be like, oh, sure. It's like, because it's so simple. Once you learn this technique, you will totally amaze yourself and your friends. I teach this in intro floral design, and it always is a big hit because this tool alone empowers you to have a gorgeous floral design. So I've got all these flowers here. So the next thing I want to do is add some flowers, right? Because we have our water, which has the flower food in it. We have our grid, which is our secret to a beautiful floral design. Yep. So we are about ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and start. And what we're going to do is, so we're taking just, long stem flowers that from the grocery store that look kind of boring. And we're going to turn them into a beautifully professional style floral bouquet. And I'm starting with a grid. And this is the secret, florist secret to floral designs that look professional. It's just taking your basic floral design tape. It's a 1/4 inch tape. And this is such a game changer. If you do this, it will totally change the way your floral designs look. And we've got a cat here. We got a cat. Yay. We got a cat. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know. Well, let's see here. If we hit start now, I'm not sure. Like, this is crazy. Not even one live viewers. I don't know. Okay. You don't want any of that water. I promise you. Oh, now you're done. Nope. Yep. Yep. Okay, I'm just having fun seeing, we're making a floral design here, and we're using some beautiful flowers. We've got this hydrangea. I always start off with my largest flowers. And the reason I do that is because they're your focal points in an arrangement, and they're going to give your arrangement balance. So however you arrange your largest flowers is going to set you up for success, because it's going to create a very beautiful arrangement. So we're going to start with our largest flowers. I took off the bottom stem, the leaves, because I don't want the leaves to be into my water. If the leaves are below the water line, then they are going to create bacteria. And we certainly do not want to add bacteria, because we want our flowers to last as long as possible. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold the stem up to the vase and decide where I want to cut the stem. So if this was my table, and I take my left hand, and my left hand is in essence, it's the rim of the vase. So imagine, like, this is the rim of the vase and this is my hand. I'm going to hold that up to my stem if this was the vase, if my left hand was the vase, where do I want that stem to be in the vase? Well, I like at least one large bloom at the rim of the vase, and I'll explain it later, but I want one large bloom at the edge of the vase. So if the left hand is my metaphor for my vase, then I'm going to hold this bloom, and I want it to sit about right there. Then if I hold that, I know where I have to cut the stem. So I'm holding the bloom up to the vase, and I'm saying, okay, I want to cut it right there, because I know that is the length that it needs to be to fit where I want it to go in my vase. Now I'm going to cut at a 45-degree angle. See, a nice 40, not straight like this. You want it at a 45-degree. And then hydrangeas are really fun because they require a little more care and handling before you put them in the vase. I shave off the woody part of the stem, the outside of the stem. And then I actually take my clippers and slice down the middle in an X fashion. And really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break up all of the stem as much as possible, because I want it to take in as much water as possible. It's called a hydra for a reason, hydrangea. It likes a lot of water. And then I'm going to put it in my vase, but not really right in the middle, not towards the front, just kind of more towards the front. But you see now, I cut off a whole bunch. And that's kind of hard to do for beginners because you're thinking, I bought all of these flowers. I bought this long stem. If I'm cutting off part of the stem, then I'm cutting off part of what I've bought. It's kind of true, but at the same time, there is a reason to have one of your largest flowers, and most likely a hydrangea, at the base of your arrangement. Now, do you already see the difference if you've got all of these tall flowers that you brought from the grocery store, and they're all at one height? So do you see this vertical line here? Okay, so you have vertical. Do you see how the vase is vertical? Or the pitcher in this case. Okay, so you've got vertical and you have vertical. Well, what do you have this horizontal? Right here, you have this line that is horizontal. That is completely distracting from this vertical look that you have. In this case, it's not quite as bad, but it really is distracting. And also, it's very top heavy because all of your stems are up here and you can't see anything. This to me looks like an arrangement of stems instead of flowers. But with just a simple trick of cutting a stem down and breaking that horizontal line with your hydrangea, see how I did that? Now we have the beginnings of a beautiful, professionally looking arrangement. So, ta-da! So we've got that. So we've got this wonderful hydrangea at the base of our design. And we're off to a good start now because we've got that we have our largest bloom, one of our largest blooms. My tip is always start with a large bloom as a focal point because it gives your arrangement weight and balance, and it also creates a really nice focal point, and it also hides the horizontalness, the horizontal line of your arrangement of your vase, which is distracting to any floral design. We would really like to marry the stems with the container, and that's what we're doing here. So that's how we're starting this. And I'm curious, let's see here, if we change something here. Oh, okay, we're stepping on that, huh? Okay, so we've got that. We're off to a good start. And this is so exciting. Nice to do this. I love this. I love that we're doing this and no one is watching. Amazing. Amazing. Let's see. I wonder if I can hit co-host. Let's see. Friends that are online but not watching right now. Okay. Let's see. We'll invite Tiger Lily because I've worked with her before. We'll invite J. Ray, Isabel's Flowers. That'll be a good start. And I also would like to find, let's see. I also would like to find my friend who's usually on here, but I don't see her. Is this all the people that are on right now? Let's see, allow. Okay. Looking. Ooh. Okay. We'll invite her. Okay, we'll see. So this is very boring if you don't have people watching. So we're going to keep going on. And the reason I'm hosting this workshop today is because I want to educate you on some of the ways to make a professional looking bouquet easily with flowers from the grocery store. And anyone can do this, and you can do this for your girlfriend, for your boyfriend, for your partner, for yourself, And it's just going to transform for a friend. It's going to totally transform the way you look at grocery store flowers. You're totally going to love it. So we've got this nice, beautiful hydrangea here at the base of our vase. And we started the base of the vase. We started the vase with a nice clear glass, with a nice grid. And this is the secret to an amazing floral design. It is, we've added the floral tape, and hi the Tri Queen, like your name. This is clear floral tape. It's not waterproof, but this is the secret to any successful floral design, and it's a florist secret. So I've got, this grid has been used, so it's a little worn looking, but have you ever tried this where you actually add a little grid to your floral vase, and then you can take your flowers and they can go from a grocery store bunch that looks kind of basic, and it can end up being a professionally looking bouquet, which we started here because I've added my hydrangea. And guess what? It's going to stay in place now because I've got it cut. Not only did I went ahead and I cut a lot of the stem off. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this with hydrangeas, but a lot of people think hydrangeas are very sensitive and they don't last long. Well, guess what? Hydrangeas actually can last a long time in a vase. It can be one of the cheapest flowers to get, actually, because it will last really, really long. The secret is you have to take your clippers and you have to shave off the outside, just shave it. Just kind of like strip it a little bit. And it's because that's all the woody part. And hydrangeas are called hydrangea for a reason. Hydra, right? They like a lot of water. So if you just shave off the outside of the stem and then you cut through the middle and give it some nice cuts, and then you put it in your vase, it's going to last a lot longer. Yay! And I have created a wonderful start to an arrangement here because I have a flower at the base of my arrangement. And this is going to set us up for success. So we've got a nice, beautiful hydrangea at the base of the arrangement here. And I like to start with a few of my larger flowers when I'm making a design, because if you start with the larger flowers, there's a couple reasons. One, it's their focal points. So this is when someone looks at your arrangement, they're going to be looking at these larger flowers first. So that's really cool. Two, they also give you arrangement balance. Arrangements actually can look very unbalanced. They can look out of place, and a lot of it has to do with the element and principle of design of balance. So we want to create some balance, and I've done that by adding a large bloom at the base of my arrangement. And that's where we're starting. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add something else to the arrangement. So I've added this nice, wonderful grid, created this grid first to put my flowers in place. And that is going to set me up for success. And that's how we're going to start this design. And we're going to take a drink of water because floral design is a lot of work. This is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Oh, want to give that to me, Flapjack? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. So I'm going to drink a little bit more. And we're going to wonder if anyone would like to join us. And no one wants to join me. Bummer. Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. Okay, we're going to make an arrangement. So I've got this hydrangea at the base of my arrangement. And then I'm going to look for any other larger flowers that I have here. Like, what am I going to put next? Okay, so if we have a big hydrangea at the base of our arrangement, I want to add something to it to kind of fill it out. So I'm going to add another pink flower. This is an Alstroemeria. And I'm going to go ahead, and it's so easy, but you want to clean up all of these stems. And you just take your hand and go like that. And now I've got a nice clean stem. And I'm actually going to take off these stems, or these blooms, or stems. This greenery that doesn't look, these leaves that don't look good either. So take all of those off. And now I've got, and I don't know, Alstroemeria, I like to take off most of these leaves. I feel like they're very distracting from the blooms. And so I just use my fingers to delicately remove them. And now I've got this nice bloom. And what's really cool is you can take a hydrangea, and let me kind of show you what we can do with this. It's an awesome trick. Let's see if I can put this up here so you can see it. Okay, so we're going to take the hydrangea, and the hydrangea is actually made up of a whole bunch of laterals. See that? There's like lots of laterals. Okay. So what's cool is you can use your hydrangea as a grid and a way to hold blooms in place. So I'm going to cut my stem, and remember, I'm going to cut it at a 45-degree angle. And then instead of just placing it wherever, I'm going to place it inside my hydrangea and into the water, and then it stays in place, and it spreads my hydrangea out. So now my hydrangea actually looks bigger and fuller, because adding this Alstroemeria in the middle really spread it out. And then it also helps keep my Alstroemeria in place. So now it's not flopping around. Isn't that a cool trick? Just so simple. So if I wanted to do an all the way around arrangement, then I'm going to have to add some flowers here. Now, let me show you with the carnation. You can take the sepals here. This is the sepal. And I can actually, believe it or not, rip that back a little bit. It won't hurt your flower that much. So I'm just kind of pulling it back. And that's going to fluff out my carnations. So if you get the carnations and they're really tight and you've just got them for the party that day, go ahead and do all of that to give it a nice, good, fluffy look. And then you can add it to your floral arrangement. I'm going to add it on the back side here. Give it a nice 45-degree cut. And I'm going to just keep adding flowers, adding. And I personally don't like a roundy-moundy arrangement. I want something that has a lot of different heights, a lot of variations. So, of course, one of your, what are some of your prized flowers in this bouquet? If you get like a mixed bouquet, there's flowers that have more of a premium value, where people see them as more of a luxury flower. So we see roses as more of a luxury flower. And so I'm going to take this beautiful rose here, and it smells so good. And I want to put a little bit taller than everything else, because I want it to stand out. And I'm cutting the flower at a 45-degree angle. And I don't know if you see, but I'm actually working it in between the blooms of the hydrangea, which is really fun. And that helps keep it in place. And I love this dried hydrangea there. So we've got all these nice stems here. And you know what actually goes really well with pink and light pink for fall is burgundy. And I love that combination of burgundy with hot pink, because believe it or not, they're both in the red family, but one has more of a, has more white tint to it, right? And then the burgundy has more black to it. And because of that, it's still in the same color family, but just has some different tones and shades to it. So burgundy and pink is actually a really cool combination. You wouldn't think so, but it is. And then this poor flower, this is called stock. Stock is more delicate for the most part, and it's hard to get stock that looks good. But here we've got a piece of stock, stem of stock, and I always take off all the leaves. And the nice thing about stock, and I love stock, has such a nice fragrance. And this is a new variety. It's called Mauve. So it's really nice because it has some pink to it. It has some purple undertones, lavender undertones, some grays to it. It's actually almost like a line flower. Do you see how it has a very beautiful line? So instead of being like a fluffy round hydrangea, which is more of a mass, kind of like, a roly-poly, this is definitely, you can actually use it as a line flower, which can give volume, create volume in your arrangement, perceived value, because I've got some nice height here. So do you see that I have some things kind of sprouting out of the arrangement? I have some flowers that are tucked down low. So already I'm taking these stems from the grocery store and I am starting to build an arrangement that actually looks very professional. So it doesn't take much. The most important thing when you're doing this is to really just try to get some highs and lows. And if you're doing that, a little trick is you don't want two stems to be at the same height. So do you see how that looks like bunny ears? Not very attractive, right? It gives it a whimsical, weird kind of, unless you wanted to make this into a bunny, then that worked. But usually you want your stem to be either lower or higher than the next stem. So I always try to get all of my stems at varying heights. So again, this is almost like what we call a line flower in the business, because I'm using the bloom not only for the blossoms, but also in the design, I'm using it as a line. So this is a line flower. This is a mass flower or a focal point flower. So we've got some focal flowers there. And you can see everything is at a different height. There's no two stems that are at the same height yet. Here we have a nice mass flower. Mass flowers are usually like fluffy and round, whereas line flowers are more tall and linear. They're pointing, like you could use them to point at someone. Roses could either be a mass flower. If it's open, it would be nice and round and fluffy. Or it can be like a secondary flower, not a focal flower in your arrangement. Now here's the tricky one. Here's the one that I always like. If you have a stem that has a lot of laterals, so we call that a spray flower, because there's a lot of extra, it's like you get a lot of blooms for just one stem. I've got one stem here, but it has a lot of blooms. First of all, first things first, we're always going to take off the greenery that's not looking good. And then I actually take off, I'm going to use these, but I put them to the side. There's no reason you can't get more than one insertion into a vase with a stem. So now I have just created lots of insertions with one stem. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 insertions with one stem. So I actually get more for my money that way. So I'm going to hold up the stem, decide where I want to put it. And I'm going to drop it right there. And again, you see everything's at a different height. Now I've got these 3 little stems and I can decide where to put those. And I may put those more towards the base. It's actually counterintuitive. You would think, oh, well, these would go above this stem. But it's kind of fun to put them lower than your larger stem. And now do you see how that creates some interesting height? And everything here is at a different level. We have some sprouting flowers. We have some real heavy, fluffy flowers. We have some nice secondary flowers. And I was just mentioning how one of my favorite colors to add with pink is burgundy right now for fall. And it seems like an unusual combination, but it actually is on the same side of the color wheel. They're both warm tinted flowers. And when you add the two together, it gives a really unique contrast and just elevates your design, makes it look very much more professional, because it's on the professional side of floral designing with color. And so I've got these nice colors going here. And you can see I have lots of different heights. Things are coming in, they're going out, they're tucked low. they're flowing out. So we've got a lot of things going in and going out. Love this one. And then I like little spray flowers like this because they add delicacy to your arrangement. So if you haven't noticed yet, each flower has a different height and each flower has its own place. And each flower is also either tucked in or coming out. And none of them are totally touching, except for maybe the ones down low, right? But everything else is kind of going in and out, which makes it so much more interesting. And do you see how that white really stands out? Especially when we put it against the darkest flower in your arrangement, that creates a lot of contrast, which really makes your white stand out even more. So if you want something to stand out, put your lightest flower next to your darkest flower, and that's really going to create a beautiful contrast for your bouquet. I've got a lot of flowers here. I really didn't think I did. And the other thing I like to do is mass flowers, the similar flowers together. It creates more of a focal point with one type of flower. One of my favorite flowers to add is the Queen Anne's lace. And it's because it's so delicate. These are wonderful for wedding bouquets. And it just adds that English garden feel to anything. And it kind of dances, like when you kind of like move it around. It's just nice and soft and dances. I like it better than baby's breath for the most part because it's kind of more contained. It's like one little area, and then it has this nice skinny stem, so it has a delicate feel, but yet it doesn't overtake the design like baby's breath can do. So I was looking here. I may go a little. I feel like I want to go taller. So I didn't realize I have 3 of the stock flowers, which are the most beautiful ever. So I'm going to take off the greenery here. And I'm going to go ahead and add him. And remember what I said is that every single stem is going to be at a different height. So I'm going to put him here at a different height. And we've got we've got some beautiful beginnings of a wonderful bouquet here. Always take off your greenery. The greenery that it isn't looking too good. I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to balance this out because I have a dark flower here and a dark flower there. So I'm going to go to the opposite side and put a dark flower here. So 3s are good in floral design. It's a Fibonacci number, which is part of it's part of nature's order. It's a number found in nature, 3. So that's why we tend to like 3s. So now I've got a nice balance there with these 3 burgundy flowers. And then, oh my gosh, I love how I'm just kind of going up and I'm kind of like stacking the flowers now. Because like I said, I don't want any flower to be the same height as another flower. That's what professionals do. If you want your design to have a professional look, then you're going to have flowers at different heights. And they're all going to be coming in and going out of the arrangement. And no 2 flowers are going to be totally touching. And also, we like to soften the stem of a flower so that it doesn't just look like it was randomly out there. We got of course, it's fall, so we have a lot of mums here. This is love this color of a mum. It looks like Floret Farms. I don't know if you all know of Floret Farms, but check her out on Instagram and TikTok because she's a grower of beautiful flowers. And she has the most unique varieties ever. Like the colors are just, I feel like these are probably inspired by her. And see, I take off the little side laterals. So I don't just if I have a spray flower, I don't use all the sprays just in one insertion. I'll take some of the little ones off and then I'll tuck them down low like that, like so. It's coming together. So you could do this with just grocery store flowers. You don't have to have any fancy flowers, but you can totally elevate your floral designs by just these little tips and tricks I'm teaching you. And the first one I taught you was the grid on the vase. Got to get your grid. Got to get that grid on your vase. As long as you have a taped grid on your vase, you are going to be able to set yourself up for success. And your flowers are going to stay in place, and you can just enjoy it so much more. You're not going to get frustrated when you're designing. Lily is a premium flower, so the lily, we're going to make sure to have that nice and tall up here. And again, when that opens, that's going to be magnificent. So we've got a really neat mix here. And I just love this color combination. Grocery store flowers, they tend to do very on-trend colors. Isn't that daisy beautiful with the bright green in the center? And then you've got that rust-colored outer petals. It's so gorgeous. So I'm going to put him a hint more in the middle, because I think he's very special. And he's going to kind of fill out the arrangement here. So we're creating quite an arrangement here. Lots of different heights, and everything is kind of up and down and has lots of neat textures, and I'm loving it so far. So we're almost there. We have Alstroemeria. We all know Alstroemeria as one of the main flowers you find at the grocery store. The key is to remove all of the leaves. The leaves are not the pretty part of the Alstroemeria. They usually, and you just use your fingers to gently snap them off. It's not uncommon to do that and accidentally take a bloom off though, so you have to be really careful. And we're just taking off all of the little leaves because they get in the way of making the arrangement look beautiful. So we're doing that. And now we have, now the flower, the true star of the Alstroemeria shows out. With all this greenery, it was really hiding the beauty of the blooms. And that's why I decided to take those off. And then I'm going to come out at an angle. So everything doesn't have to go up and down into a vase. You can add flowers at an angle, right? And hi, Bailey Grace. My buddy, Bailey Grace. Oh, wow. Let me get out my Make Wellness drink. Got it right here, girl. So that's my mom from another mother. But I've got to have a little bit of a sore throat, so this has been very helpful today, my Make Wellness energy drink. But every flower, when you put a stem in a vase, does not have to go straight up and down. Think about putting your flowers in at angles. And I use the twist technique. If you twist it as you're putting a little gentle pressure of pushing it in, it helps find its own way. It's kind of like wiggling into its spot. But I'm loving how all these flowers are going in and out. If we kind of have a side here that needs a little something, a little love. So we're gonna have to come up with something here. And I have the perfect flower for it. This is very delicate, but it also is is nice and very delicate, but it also has a lot of presence. So we're going to put that guy in this area here, if you can see it. Yay. So see, we're getting there. And of course, you always get that one, random piece of greenery. It's like, does this really need greenery? Not really, but still it will give some fullness. Greenery is a great way to add volume without adding expense. So I do like greenery for that. I'm going to put him right in the middle because, again, he's kind of like a line flower. So he has a very vertical nature, and I don't want him to hide any of my other flowers. So I've got, you can just see, though, how that added some presence. It added some weight to the whole design, which is so nice. So we've got that going for us. And then we're going to add one more stem here of our spray mums. And again, I'm loving this color. It's like copper and butterscotch mixed together. And the bright green center is just like adds a very vibrant look to it, a very fresh look. So we're going to go ahead and put this somewhere. Let's see. I think I'll take off. Sometimes these little side laterals just kind of interfere with the overall feel of the stem. So I'm going to take that off. And I've gotten to a point where I have enough flowers, I kind of have to rearrange some. And you can always do that. But again, the trick is to wiggle your flower. I call it swizzle, like a little twizzle, swizzle. You're kind of rotating it back and forth because you're trying to, as you put some gentle pressure on it, because you're trying to get it into the arrangement and letting it kind of find its way where the best spot is for it. And I'm cutting all of my stems at a 45-degree angle. That way they get the most chance for the most water intake. And I'm putting all of my flowers at different heights. So if you can see all the different heights, there's so much going on here. Well, I am loving this arrangement. I think it's beautiful. Has a very Zen feel. And you know, one of the reasons it has a Zen feel is because I was in a Zen mood when I made it. And that's key. When you're making a floral design, if your shoulders are up here and you're tight and you're all like, oh my gosh, how is it going to turn out? Then guess what? Your arrangement's going to turn out tight. So however you're feeling is how your arrangement's going to feel. So I was once in a floral design contest, and it was in Orlando. And I thought, you know what, I'll do the breathing technique before I go out it was my first time competing. And I was so nervous. And I really was like, maybe I have a chance to win. You know, I was like just excited, but had no idea what to expect. And I was very nervous because I had never done anything like that. So it was in Orlando, and I said, oh, you know, let me just run to the bathroom. So I ran to the restroom, and, you know, it's that cold, sterile room, right? Those public bathrooms. And I was like, I'm going to do the breathing technique. So I said, so I did the Wim Hof breathing technique, and I was like breathing in, breathing out, breathing out. I was just like really, and all of a sudden, like I was too hyped up. I was like just kind of all over the place. Instead of like meditating and being centered, I came out just kind of like in a daze and and like, okay, I'm ready. And I was so pumped up that my arrangements, guess what? They looked pumped up. All of the arrangements were just like wild and crazy, and they were everywhere. They looked disorganized. And that's how I started that competition, was in that exact mood. And that's what happens with flowers, when you're arranging flowers, whatever energy you're bringing to your floral design as you're designing it it will come out in your design. And I think we were pretty successful today in creating a beautiful, full of different heights, highs and lows in this floral bouquet. And I brought some extra little somethings. Isn't that cute? These are little bunny tails. And these are what I call adding the chi. We're just adding a little extra to the bouquet. It's those non-floral elements that really can elevate your bouquet and make it very professional feeling, because it's something that came special from what you've got. And I've got these neat little, I think it's like pampas grass in a dried pampas grass. And so I can add those in there. So anything that you can add that maybe you already have around the house, like a little bird, a butterfly, branches, just add a little something to it that wasn't in the grocery store pack. And when you do that, it totally changes the look of your arrangement. So I hope you've enjoyed today. And I sure have enjoyed speaking with all of you and seeing all of you guys jump on and jump off. That always makes it really exciting. Like, just, you know, it's exciting. What can I say? It's fun to be here and see that y'all have an interest in floral design. And now hopefully you can see how easy it is and how you can do this. You can elevate your grocery store flowers very easily and make a really cool design that looks very professional, just with a few tips, a few tricks and tips, a few secrets from the florist. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. And bye for now, and have a wonderful evening. And don't forget to live beautifully. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and end that one too. Sure glad I didn't spend extra money on those flowers. Okay, we'll end it.